Hi UXers, my name is Njiiri, Gathigia Njiiri. I am a UXer. Quite recently in my career, I would say design strategist, and I'm also in design ops. Yeah, I'm also the founder of UX Kitchen. I have two more partners, so that's Tony, who's behind the video, yay, and then there's also Rajesha. I'm sure you all know Rajesha if you watched our former YouTube videos. And today we'll be talking about design ops. So design ops, there's a lot of definitions on the internet and from different design experts, but I think it's a human-centered approach of creating and curating and fostering an environment where designers and creatives in general, even UX researchers, get to do their best work, and then the impact of this work they're doing can also be scalable. So once you have that environment set up, that would be design ops. So if I was a company setting up a new team and I have a new design team, how would I set up design ops? I would probably think of three things. One, the people. Two, the work and the process. Those kind of go together. And then three, the culture. So when it comes to the people, I'm looking at about four things. So one, the people in your team, designers and researchers, are going to be asking, am I the right person for the job? So that's to do with hiring processes. So what is the need you have? And then what are the skills needed to meet this need, right? And so that goes in your job description. So design ops should be on top of job descriptions going out. The other question I'd be asking if I was a designer in that team would be, am I working on the right thing? So that means, are my skills being used to meet the need that the company has? Number two, is the thing I'm working on relevant? How aligned is it to the company mission or vision, right? Number three would be, am I learning? So that's design education. How are you setting up an environment where there's continuous learning? So there's ease of finding design education in the company for your teammates. And the fourth thing I'd be asking as a designer would be, am I growing? So have you figured out career growth? That would be, well, the most regular framework would be like junior designer. That's like beginner level, so there's a lot of learning happening. And then there's a designer, so that's a lot of execution level things. And then there's a senior designer, so they create direction, ask the right questions, bring in the change required. And then there's a management spectrum of things, which is managing people, and then there's managing design work. You need to find someone who's good at both. And then there's strategic leadership, which is like someone who's creating the right relationships and understanding the industry enough to give direction for the product in a way that makes sense for the design team and the whole product team at large. Yeah. The second thing would be the work and the processes, and the questions I'd be asking here would be, when it comes to the work, do we have a clarity of the priorities? So if I'm working on something as a designer, am I sure where I'm working on this? Is it in alignment with the goals of the entire product team? Second thing would be the product design process. Have we created an environment where there's ease of creation of the required collaborations? So think about the disciplines in the product design and the product lifecycle. So that would be UX research, UX design, engineering, PM, architects. Do we have a process that is understood and then applied across these disciplines? And then the other thing I'd be thinking about would be design systems. So this just ensures there's consistency of the product brand, the product flow across our product suite, if you have a product suite. And then there's also efficiency in the output once you have a design system. So that's pretty much basic. You can find frameworks for design systems across the internet. You don't have to start from scratch. And then there's the tools and documentation. So that would be communication tools, and this goes across the product team. So if you're in design ops, you're responsible for ensuring that the tools we are using are in alignment with the rest of the product team. So there's documentation tools, there's communication tools, there's planning work tools, then there's tracking that work tools, and then there's the actual design tools, right? So if you're using Figma, then you know all your designers are using Figma, right? If you're prototyping with a different tool, make that also clear and also like uniform across, right? Then there's design and research reviews adoption. So what processes do we have in place to make sure that the questions and the critiques we're getting from our design team and our research team, they're actually being applied? So it's not like, hey, we think we should do this, and then it's not applied across the product, right? So I would say that would be the things I'm thinking about when it comes to work and process. And the third big thing would be the culture. So first of all, if you have all the above, what I just said, set up, already you have a good culture, right? You have a great working culture. So there's also like the vibe, right? Remember, you're mostly working with creatives, that's design, right? They don't like to work in like rigid environments, so you need to create a space where people feel free to show up as themselves. They show up authentically, relationships are easily created, there's like, remove tension where there's like possibility of tension. What's the relationship between leadership and the team itself? It should be an easy, busy, open door policy kind of thing. So a little less structure, right? Even with a structure. Yeah. And then there's the team touch points. Right now we're in a remote world, so are you making sure that the team is well connected and not in a, oh, what's your fun fact way, in a real, genuine connection, connections happening across the team. Then there's like peer-to-peer learning, peer-to-peer design critiques, so learning from each other, that's also part of the culture. There's retrospectives where, for example, you can, as long as your team can come together at the end of, say, 6 months, 3 months, and they're saying, hey, we like this and we don't like this, and you actually get to apply the things that they don't like, you get to apply some of the suggestions that they come up with, right? And then there's a good old party, which is bringing the team together once in a while to just celebrate as people, celebrate your work, celebrate your lives. Yeah, so all of that contributes to the culture you create, and the environment you foster for your creativity. So what would I recommend as a resource for design ops? We're all about free stuff. So there's a design ops handbook that was created by a team in InVision. So already that's like trustworthy. So it's free and it's actually on their site. You could literally Google design ops handbook. Yes, and it's less than 120 pages. Yes, so you can literally read it in a weekend. Yeah, so that would be the one resource I would recommend. That said, there's a lot of other podcasts. Norman Nielsen is always good. High Resolution, they also talk to like folks who've done design ops well. And one last one would be, there's a YouTube video by the head of design ops in Airbnb. Forgot their name, I'm sorry. But they explain design ops in a systemic way really, really well. That's it.